Hello guys, I'm Sujit here at Elmi Linux Made Easy. Today we're going to have a quick look at the chmod command. It's a simple command to change Linux file and folder permissions. It's a simple command to enforce the discretionary access controls in Linux systems. If you don't know what is discretionary access controls or DAC, please go and refer to one of my previous tutorials in which I have explained that. Let's quickly jump into the synopsis for the chmod command. It's quite simple: chmod followed by the mode followed by a file or folder name. Mode can either be alphabetic or octal. In alphabetic mode, we are allowed to use alphabets to change file and folder permissions. The alphabets are given here: U for user or owner of the file, G for the group, O for other users except user and group users, A for all users. In the second section we can see a plus or minus sign just for adding or subtracting a write. Finally, we have the read, write and execute permissions, which are given by R, W and X respectively. In octal mode, things are a bit more complicated. If you have a look at the output for a long listing format of the list command, you can see it's like this. Here in the very beginning you can see the permissions which are given to the user, group and others. For user we have read, write and no execute permission. For group we have read, write and no execute, and for others we have read, no write, no execute. In octal mode we replace these permissions with its binary correspondent. So since the user is given the read permission, we replace it with 1. For write permission, another 1. No execute permission, so a 0. For group, it's the same as the user, 110. For others, we have 100 because the others group is not given the write permission. Finally, we need to get the octal correspondent for this binary number. It's nothing but 664. It means that read, write, no execute permission is given for the owner of the file. Read, write, no execute permission is given for the group, and read, no write, no execute permission is given for others. So let's quickly jump into an example. You can see a file which is named new file here in the terminal. I'm going to play with this new file. Also, it's very important that when you use the chmod command, you need to use the sudo in front of it if you are not the owner of that file. It's pretty much understood. So let's play with the file now. I'm going to add, for example, execute permission for the owner of this file, that's new file. So since it's the owner, it's going to be U, and since we are giving the execute permission, it's going to be X after the plus sign. So chmod U plus X new file. Let's do a list again. You can see that the execute permission is added for the new file. It's quite simple, isn't it? Now we want to subtract the read permission for others for this particular file. Let's do that. It's going to be chmod O minus read, that is R, new file. Let's do a listing, and there we go. The read permission is subtracted for others group. So essentially that group has got no rights on the new file now. Well, new file in fact is a file, just like any other file. Okay. It's worthy to have a look at the man page for the chmod command. You can see a lot of options, but I would emphasize on one particular option, that is a recursive option. This option is very useful when we are dealing with folders. So let's jump into an example now. I'm going to create a folder. Let me list that folder. So you can see the permissions which are given for that folder. Got read, write and execute permissions for both the user, that's the owner, and the group, and others are given read and execute permissions. It means that they can actually go into the folder and read contents inside the folder. It's quite simple. I want to go into the folder and let me create a file which is named file1, and I'm going to list the permissions which are by default given to file1. You can see read, write, execute permissions. Read, write permissions are given for both the owner and the group, and only read permissions are given. Read permission is given to the others. Now I'm going back to the parent folder. Now let's play with the recursive parameter. I want to give the execute permission for all the users for the folder, new folder, and all the files inside new folder. So I'm going to use the chmod command to achieve my purpose. I have given the R parameter for recursiveness, a plus x. That means all users are given the execute permission, and the folder name, that's new folder. Let's have a listing of the new folder. You can see that all the users are granted the execute permission, and let's traverse into the new folder now. I'm going to list the contents of the file1 that I have created. You can see that the execute permission is granted for all the users for the file1. This is because we have used the recursive parameter in one of our previous commands. So recursiveness is a very useful feature when we come to the chmod command. Now I'm going to create a new file, file2. Let's use the octal mode to add the right permission for other users for the file2. Since we are not changing the permissions for the owner, it's going to be 6 for the owner, 6 for the group again, and 6 for others because we are actually adding the right permission for other users. Let me list the file again. You can see that the right permission is added for the file2 for other users. See a W here at the very end of the permission list. I hope that this tutorial was helpful. If you have any doubts, please leave a comment. Thank you. Have a great day.